When you're building software where everything is on the line, we're talking national security, people's lives, you don't just, open an editor and start coding. You need a master plan, a real blueprint. And today, we're going to deconstruct one of the most heavy-duty blueprints out there, the Mil-Std 498 Software Development Plan. We're going to see what makes it tick.
So if you're in this world, if you're building this kind of high-stakes software for the government, you already know the pressure is immense. Your client, the government, they need a whole lot more than just your word that you'll get it done. They need to see, in almost painful detail, exactly how you're going to pull it off.
And that's really the heart of it. This whole document, the Software Development Plan, or SDP, it's not just another piece of paperwork to check off a box. It's a pact. It's the detailed blueprint that builds trust between you, the person building the thing, and them, the people paying for it.
So, how do we build this pact of trust? Well, we're going to walk through the whole thing. We'll start with what an SDP even is, then cover how you lay the project's foundation, plan out your actual development process, lock in quality and security, and get your team and timeline organized. And finally, we'll see why it all comes together as the ultimate blueprint.
All right, first things first. What exactly is this document? Let's get right to the official purpose.
Okay, so check out the key phrase in there, a tool for monitoring. That tells you everything. This is not a document you write, file away, and never look at again. Nope. It's a living, breathing tool that gives the client a window, a direct look into your entire operation. It's all about making sure there are zero surprises down the road.
And it serves as the central agreement for everybody involved in this complex dance. You've got the sponsor with the money, the government agency acquiring it, the developer building it, and of course the actual user who's going to depend on it in the field. The SDP is what gets all of them singing from the same song sheet.
Now, before you can build anything, you've got to survey the land, right? Well, the first big chunk of the SDP is basically that, a project site survey.
These early sections are all about nailing down the absolute basics. You have to clearly state, this is the software we're building. You have to explain its purpose, how this plan fits into the grand scheme of things, and every single requirement you're working with. And trust me, this isn't busy work. This is about systematically destroying any ambiguity before a single line of code gets written. Okay, the foundation is poured. Now it's time to draft the plans for the actual building. And this is where the SDP starts to get really interesting.
This section is the real engine room of the plan. This is where you lay out the how. It's not good enough to just say what you'll build. You have to explain step by step how you're going to build it.
What's great is that the standard doesn't lock you into some old-school method like waterfall. It's flexible. It lets you use modern approaches, like Agile. But, and this is a big but, if you say you're doing Agile, you better be ready to answer some very, very specific questions.
25. That's not a typo. That is how many detailed, mandatory questions the standard requires you to answer if you claim you're using Agile. This is brilliant, really. It means you can't just throw a buzzword around like Scrum. You have to prove you have a real, disciplined, and totally transparent process.
I mean, take this question right here. The acquirer wants to know how they are going to physically see progress. Are you doing a live demo? Are you using a simulator? They want to see actual working software, not just some slides in a PowerPoint. It all comes back to accountability.
And this one? Oh, this one is huge. They want to know your strategy for technical debt. Why do they care? Because the government is buying a system for the long haul. Decades, maybe. They need to know you're building something that's sustainable and high quality, not just cutting corners to go fast now.
Okay, so that brings us to the stuff that is absolutely non-negotiable. If your process is the engine, then this next section covers the building codes, the safety inspections, the things you have to do for every single part of this project.
The plan forces you to think about safety and cybersecurity at every single stage. This isn't something you can just bolt on at the end. It has to be woven into the fabric of the project, right from the moment you start talking about requirements, all the way through to the final system tests.
And the point here is that you have to document everything. Your coding standards, so the code is still readable 10 years from now. Your formal process for using open source or reusable software, so you're not accidentally introducing a huge vulnerability. And my favorite, recording the rationale for big decisions. So a new engineer, years later, can understand why you chose a particular database. This isn't just bureaucracy, people. This is how you build a transparent and maintainable system. A beautiful blueprint doesn't mean much if you don't have a skilled crew and a realistic schedule. So this final planning section is all about the who, the where, and the when. The SDP makes you lay out a complete inventory of your resources.
You've got to list your staffing, their skills, even their security clearances, all to prove you've got the A-team. You specify the facilities, and, this is critical, you list everything you need from them, from the acquirer, to get the job done. This one little step can save a project because it stops any finger-pointing later by setting expectations right up front.
So after all that, all these sections, all this detail, what have we actually built? Is it just a giant pile of paperwork?
No, absolutely not. The whole point of the software development plan is to be a powerful communication tool. It is literally designed to force those difficult conversations and create a shared, rock-solid understanding of the entire project before the big risks and big money kick in.
So let's just boil it all down. What does this monster blueprint really do for you? 1, it gives the client that window into your world for monitoring. 2, it forces you to defend why you're doing things the way you are. 3, it bakes quality and security in from day one. And maybe most importantly, it takes all that foggy ambiguity and turns it into a concrete shared commitment.
And really, that's what this is all about. The Mil-Std 498 plan, it's not just a checklist of requirements, it's a framework for building trust. And when you're talking about mission-critical software, trust might just be the most important thing you build. So the real question is, does your plan do the same?